Okay, we're live. Great. Live in the sense it's not anywhere yet. My YouTube channel. So good morning, Renske. Am I saying your name right?
Good morning. Yes, definitely, definitely perfect. Thank you. Thanks for the invitation of having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for being part of this. You're doing so well with your startup, so we're very glad to have you and talk to us a little bit about your experience as a mom who works. So
Yes.
why don't we get started? Tell us about you, about your startup, and about your human baby as well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, so my company is Noobie, and we created Noobie as a gift for pregnant women. It's full of products to try out during the phase that you're expecting, but actually not knowing what to expect yet. So you have to try a lot of products. It's a complete new world where you're in, and we are guiding women actually through this stage and helping them out finding what they need for their baby, but also for themselves during pregnancy and for the start of motherhood. And this concept is actually known in more parts of the world. I'm from Holland originally. Both my co-founders are from Holland as well, and one of us is from France. And in all these countries, it's a known concept, and it wasn't in the US yet. So we figured starting it ourselves. 1.5 years ago, we launched Noobie, and ever since then, we distributed around 10,000 boxes to pregnant women.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that's kind of what the company is about. And for myself, I moved to the US 3.5 years ago. I lived in Amsterdam before and worked in a complete different field. Actually, I was working as a lawyer in healthcare.
Oh, cool.
So that was a completely different world, actually. And so I was very excited to have the opportunity kind of to live abroad and start something completely different, as this is. And in the meantime, after starting my company, I became a mother myself half a year ago. My daughter Kiki is 6 months now.
Oh.
So I am very recently combining working and motherhood, but definitely experiencing it fully. So yeah, I'm very happy to become a mother and combining it with having my own business.
And so Noobie Box started about 2 years ago,
We launched end of 2015, so around like 16 months.
okay. And so all your co-founders are also first generation. They moved to the US in the recent years. How?
Yes. One of my co-founders is originally from France, and she lived here already she's been living here for 12 years already. And I initially started with two co-founders who are both from the Netherlands, and one had to move back half a year ago to the Netherlands. And the other one's also still in the US, but all indeed originally born in Europe.
I see, I see. And then how did you meet? How did you come together and come up with this need? I mean, I'm guessing all three of you have grown up in a culture where mothers' boxes were common, and so how did that?
Yes. We kind of started brainstorming. So me and my two co-founders originally about bringing something from our home country to the US because. Especially in New York, what US in general is very like there's a lot of new things going on, and actually in most ways it's more innovative than in Europe. So it's hard to bring something actually from Europe to the US. But there is definitely like a few things that we loved having at home and missed in New York. So and this was one of the things. So I didn't experience myself because I wasn't a mom at that time yet, but my two co-founders were, and they especially missed this gift while being pregnant, to be spoiled a little bit and to try some things out and to have the opportunity. And the funny thing is that in the Netherlands, it's really something that's been around since the 70s. So it's really something your mom would get for you as soon as you're pregnant, and your friends tell you about. And so it's just a whole cultural thing that it was, yeah.
You were missing, and then you all
Yes.
gathered around it. But so tell me a little bit about where your career was at before you became a mom. I mean, I'm guessing you came 3.5 years ago. Were you working here when you came here, and then you decided to start your own thing, or how did that happen?
Yeah, so in back in the Netherlands, I was working in financing healthcare. So it was a very niche field actually where I was in. I started off as a lawyer and later transferred kind of into project management. We advised the Minister of Health in the Netherlands about efficiency and cost efficiency in healthcare, and ways to keep healthcare affordable. So it wasn't a very niche, and also in specialized in Dutch law, which is not very applicable in the US, of course. So moving here, I kind of orientated in that field as well, to see if I could do something in healthcare or combine it with law, but it was pretty difficult. And also I felt it as an opportunity to pursue to kind of try
Something new.
how do you say that, like try different directions, or see if I can if I could do something for myself and to be an entrepreneur. And I really loved having kind of the freedom to do that when you move, because yeah, otherwise in the Netherlands I would never have done this. Would never have taken the opportunity to start your own business or to do something completely out of your regular career path, kind of.
Right.
So that felt as a great opportunity, and also both of my co-founders were kind of in the same position, that they left their career back in the Netherlands and could do something completely different here. So it was kind of starting from scratch.
Right.
And that's what I really liked about. And so yeah, I started. We started brainstorming about business models, and this is what it. What it became, Noobie.
And then so you started Noobie Box, and then you were well along the path of distributing those boxes and changing, growing your business, and then you had your baby. So
Yes.
how did that affect your decision to stay and continue with Noobie Box, or did you consider that you might want to take a break? What went through your mind?
Yeah, well, I was curious in the beginning because before you become a mother, you of course don't know what to expect, and you also kind of, yeah, I don't know. I felt like kind of a feeling to protect yourself also from being too much overwhelmed by work, because it's a once in a lifetime experience, of course. The first step into motherhood, kind of. And I was very happy to have co-founders who already had kids and who could think with me kind of in that way. And we decided already from the start of our company kind of that we wanted to make some space for each other once we would have more kids, or for me it would be the first time to have some maternity leave. So I was actually in a very great position to be able to step out of the business for almost 3 months. So that was great. And that gave me really the ability to enjoy kind of the first months, but also be able to not stress out about things, or I of course followed what happened, and I stepped in like a few times to brainstorm, or my two co-founders came and visit me, and we brainstormed about a few things. But I was really able to not being stressed out at all about things, and everything was taken care of. So that felt, and that's like very
Supportive.
grateful for that.
Yeah. And then now she's 6 months old, and so you've been back working for
Yes.
at least 3 months. So have you faced many challenges as a working mom? Is your world completely different from what it was before? And
Yes, well, definitely. And I was very curious, and before I gave birth, how I would feel about this, and how I would feel about the combination, and if I had like the same working spirit, and how it would all work out. And I must say that after like the first 2 months had passed, or 2.5, 3 months, I really felt ready to set my mind on something else, and to really to be able to think for yourself, kind of, and to being in your own world instead of only taking care, and most of the time actually thinking about your kid instead of yourself. And I think it was kind of like at the 3 month mark that I really felt ready to start again. And yeah, I really feel happy about combining it.
Mhm.
I am sharing a nanny with an entrepreneurial mom actually as well.
Oh,
So that is great. Accidentally, I met via a female entrepreneur network. Actually, I met a girl who was pregnant at exactly the same time as I was. We were due only a week apart, and in the end, we both moved to the same neighborhood, and we got our baby 3 weeks apart. So that was a great. Was actually a great situation to share a nanny, and to be able to to have our kids kind of taken care of for a couple of hours a day.
okay.
And so that was a great situation. And I love being away for like 8 hours a day to be able to work and to be able to run a business. And I also love coming home again at the end of the day to take care of her for a couple of hours more. And then, it's great. I really love the combination I
So
have now.
I'm really
So
happy to hear that, because y'all sort of thought about this going into the company, that you were able to figure out uh,
yes,
a schedule where you can be both. And I'm going to be a little bit judgmental about us Americans, but maybe coming from the Netherlands background also makes you want to give both equal importance, both as a company and as individuals, and that really
yes,
probably sets you apart a little bit. Have
yes,
have
definitely.
it's been a short time, relatively speaking, but as a working mother, or even as a pregnant mom to be, uh,
Yes.
were there any career mistakes that you made that you sort of corrected along the way and learned from? That could have gone either ways, but sort of
Well, I think it's probably a little bit too short to really,
hasn't been
or
long.
at least like that I could have made mistakes, or that I see it now that I've made mistakes. But um, I've learned a lot indeed by being in a company with two entrepreneurs at that time who also were a mom. I could really see like what their situation was and how they managed it. So I think I've learned a lot through that.
Then
Yes, and watching them so closely, and also seeing them like I mean, I think that the hardest part about combining the entrepreneurship with being a mom, apart from working as a mom, is that entrepreneurship is kind of full time. So it's like it's your own business, and it's your own.
vacation.
Yes, yeah, well, you know everything about it. I mean, it's just you cannot really step aside easily, and that's why I was very grateful to have that maternity leave for 3 months, that I could really step aside. But I see now that it's really hard to really kind of turn off work for a couple of hours at least. But also you need your time in the evenings with friends and family and my husband. And it's, yeah, so I think that's going to be like the hardest challenge kind of. Where I might make mistakes.
Get some
In
more.
the balancing, yeah, the balancing of both, because it feels so, of course it's your own business, so it feels so, I don't know, you feel so,
It's another baby too, right?
yes, yeah, yes.
But you're taking time off for 3 months. How did it impact your co-founders in continuing to run the business? Do you have any anecdotes of what happened, how they handled it, so on and so forth?
Well, it was very, very hard work for them, and especially because one of the initial co-founders left during summer. So we had to find a kind of a new partner that would run the business with us, because it was just me and only one co-founder left. So if you haven't found our new partner, then she would be on her own.
Yeah.
So we are very, very happy to have our new partner on board, who is like adjusting so well. And that was very important also for me to be able to step aside a little bit to have this new partner on board. So we're very happy. But from what I've seen, they worked very hard. And I think a funny anecdote is that we have a lot of events going on, mom events going on in both fall and spring. So I gave birth in October, so there were a lot of events planned for afterwards, and they had to do it all by the two of them. And we also expanded from the New York region to Boston area in that time, so they had to go to an event in Boston with the two of them. And from what I've heard is that it was that they like took the bus to Boston, because it's all like kind of basic startup, no budget traveling. So they took the bus to Boston. They stayed in a horrible hotel, getting drunk in the bar, and they were really stuck there with the two of them. And they worked so hard that they really needed like this break. But I'm very grateful that they worked so hard to be able to, for me to being able to step aside a little bit.
Definitely, you're a good case study for having good co-founders going into
startup. Definitely, yes.
Startup on your own.
Yes.
So, you're going to bring a slightly different perspective to the next two questions, given that you recently moved to the Americas, and which is great, because we need to hear these diverse perspectives to find solutions to the typical problems that moms who work face.
Yeah.
So the first question, or rather sort of an open-ended question, is there's this perception, at least in America, that a woman, after she has given birth to a child and she tries to return to her career, she's somehow less effective, less productive. And that sort of gets in the way of, a lot of women making further progress in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that perception? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, what I felt with like just a few months experience that I have is that returning as a mom kind of in work, you really have to adjust kind of your mindset or something. What I really felt as a huge difference is that your mind is kind of in between probably your baby and your business or something. So you really have to work harder to be productive and to be effective and to So I really noticed that also on myself, because it was basically before I became a mom. It was just myself and maybe my husband or friends where you thought about, but it's probably nature that does that, or something that you really have to adjust and really have to, yeah. I don't know. I really like,
Focus your energy.
yeah, you lose your focus kind of. That's probably where it's, yeah.
But I'm sure you are hyper aware of that, coming back to work,
Yes.
that you are going to be torn between your child and your this other entrepreneurial
Yes.
endeavor. How did you do anything special to sort of prepare yourself for it, or change your habits in order to accommodate that? For instance, to give you an example,
Yeah.
my 3.5-year-old has been fighting me every morning. So when I drop her off to school, she's in a bad mood, puts me in a bad mood. So I give myself like half an hour to 45 minutes just to recover from dropping her off to school, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm not going to be able to focus on work. But that's just something I had to come up with in order to keep my sanity. So is there anything, any for new moms, are there any techniques you came up with to tackle that?
Yeah. So I'm already a person that is pretty like, I'm I'm pretty like, I make list every day of what I have to do, and I'm pretty like pragmatic in that. So I think I have to be way more persistent in that, I guess, like way to like keep my focus. And what I always did already for a long time is really start the day with just a coffee kind of on my notebook to be really focused on the day and see what I have to do, and make kind of my priorities for the day. And I felt that became way more important being a mom. So it was way more natural before I was a mom, and now I really have to really have to focus on that and really create my lists and do all that during the day. So I think that's my most important thing that I learned. Really sit down and create the priorities.
Right, right. It's a
um,
good tool.
and also I felt that, so in the beginning I was working, I was also still breastfeeding, and I felt that also had a huge impact of my kind of ability to focus. And I think once it's very recently actually, but once I stopped that, I also felt a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. But and breastfeeding can really impact how you perform at work, because it's not a tap. You have to
Yeah.
give yourself scheduled times in order to make sure you're comfortable, you're pumped, and
Yeah.
there's enough milk. And even when you make the switch from breastfeeding to no more breastfeeding for a while, there's this so much discomfort because your body hasn't just
Yeah.
switched off because you decided to
Yes.
not do it anymore.
Yes.
But I feel that the perception is very unfair, because all moms going into this are hyper aware of how it impacts their day to day, and we
Yeah.
so many little adjustments that impact mostly us and not our work. And
No, definitely. Yeah. It's
so
more your own mind that is constantly like
yeah,
working, working harder.
to
Yeah.
anybody looking at a new mom, they wouldn't even know uh, all the challenges we mentally go through and sort of solve on a day-to-day basis until life settles down a little bit. So I think that
True.
perception is very unfair. The efficiency doesn't really go down. We do so much more that is hardly noticed, I think, by a lot of I'm sure your co-founders in your workplace is very sensitive to that, having been mothers themselves, but a lot of
Yes.
workplaces aren't. um,
Exactly.
so I see that as a small business, as a startup, you together have done a lot in order to accommodate motherhood and working moms. But are there, and this is a very, very good anecdote case study for companies that want to make a change in how they accommodate moms but haven't yet taken the steps. But do you have any, from your experience working in Amsterdam, Netherlands, and now moving to the United States, do you have any ideas for how small businesses and society in general can help make things easier for moms who want to return to work and continue to contribute at the same levels, but also now have this additional burden of caretaking?
Yeah. Well, I think what is very important, and what I am kind of lucky to do by myself, because I own my own company, but because I think the most important is being flexible. Because if you have the flexibility as a mom, as a working mom, to be able to kind of step aside for a few hours a day to take care of your child and get back to your emails and your work at evening, I think you have to be perfectly able to do that. And what I at least saw at a lot of workplaces in the Netherlands is that they kind of stimulate that, and kind of let you have your own responsibility in getting your work done, instead of being there from 9 to 5 or from 8 to 10 or whatever. So I think a lot of workplaces in the Netherlands are very accommodating to that. I think that's great, because from like my small experience now, I think that what makes your life a lot easier, and also maybe less, I don't know, you can feel more comfortable with combining your baby and your work if you're able, for example, to step away at 4 o'clock to be there for a few hours after school or after pickup from daycare, instead of being home at 7 and then being kind of done with work, your baby in bed. And I mean, you can always work, but you can also change it for a few hours. So that I think in the Netherlands, but also I see that more. I see that like progression in the US as well. To have that flexibility is also really like a pro as a corporate, kind of, if you offer that to your working moms, and it's great for your for your own status, kind of, as an employer.
Right.
And we see that also as a company in that field, actually, because we are working on a program to offer companies a way to gift a box to their pregnant employees or the spouse of the employees, or as like young working moms, help them as much as possible.
Yeah.
So as a company, we're also looking into ways to offer that to employers.
That's a good idea, because I know that in companies, generally speaking, your team will, come together and often give you like a mini baby shower from work.
Yeah.
Or to support you. I think.
That's great.
Would be a really good idea.
Yeah. Because part of it is also feeling supported, kind of, by your employer, and that's very important in your whole transition. And as a company, we really want to help mothers, or women, transition into motherhood very smoothly. And a big part of it is also your employer, and being comfortable in being able to work and being a mom at the same time.
Yeah, I think that other angle, if you already have it on your roadmap to tackle, but what is motherhood like in a workplace setting? Like being more developing checklists or programs or what have you for moms who return to work after the leave would be an interesting area to explore.
Yes.
With companies, so it's not just the gifting, but also giving them the tools in order to succeed and in order to continue to perform well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah. And another thing, what is very important for a very important difference between the Netherlands and the US is that in the Netherlands it's very common to work 4 days a week. I think almost everyone that is having children, women and men actually, um, completely have the ability to work 4 days a week instead of five. And I think that's also a very important tool. That's really that I really see people missing in the US.
They don't necessarily do this at less pay. It's the same pay, but you can get fewer hours.
No, you also get paid less.
Oh,
So that is, of course, something you have to, you have to be able to do.
right.
But
But I think
yeah,
a lot of women would be okay with, working 4 days a week and taking slightly less pay if they could be there for their kids.
yeah, indeed. I mean, it also saves a daycare or a nanny. So yeah,
Right. Right.
um, yeah.
I mean, this has been really, really interesting, Renske, and we should really talk about maybe create a project group within Starting Trouble to explore the kind of tools that Noobie Box could include. In
Yes, definitely.
different setting, I think there are a lot of moms on the group, and it would be very interesting to get their perspective on what will help in the workplace. You know.
Yes.
Any parting thoughts for moms or moms to be or young women who are looking to have careers similar to yours?
Yeah. So I think it's very personal how you kind of combine motherhood and work. And I think once you become a mother and being a few months in, you really feel for yourself what's the best combination for you. Some people just really prefer to be full time with their kids, and some people prefer to just work full time 5 days, and that's also fine. But you really will feel for yourself kind of what works best for you. I think you have to trust your own gut kind of in that to find your way
Right,
and
right,
find your balance. Yeah.
right. Well, thanks, Renske. Thanks for being a part of Starting Trouble, and
Yeah. Thanks for the invitation.
thanks for your time today.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Okay, wait, hold on, don't go. I'm just going to stop broadcast.
Yes. Already figured.
Oh, I'm trying to tap my computer. This is what happens